Yeah, and I think that's where we can now move to the 6th round, and where, with all of these guys, the devil advocate, kind of trade-off here is what was the value left on the board, considering the players that were still there. And the
Mhm.
biggest one, which you gave, I believe, a C plus, C minus to this,
Something like that. I'll check. I think it
um,
was a C plus.
but taking Jha'Quan Jackson at
C minus. Sorry,
C
Jaquan.
minus,
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
Jha'Quan Jackson at 182 in the 6th round, when there were guys that we and the rest of the gang on our day 3 live stream liked better, like a Malik Washington. They were
Mhm.
still on the board, but Jha'Quan Jackson is part of this team, so we're going to talk about him. What give us his profile rundown.
I hate that. Jha'Quan Jackson is a part of this team, so whether we like it or not, we don't hate Jha'Quan Jackson.
Now,
I'm looking forward to meeting the guy. I'm looking forward to having him prove me wrong and make me look so stupid. Please go and do it, Jha'Quan, if you happen to be listening to this. Um, but I have to be honest, and Jha'Quan Jackson, wide receiver, Tulane at 182 overall. Let's just start with the introduction here. 3-star recruit, played at FCS Jackson State before transferring to Tulane his junior year. He's the nephew of Ed Reed, so there's a little pedigree. College roommates with Tyjae Spears, who he calls a brother from another mother. Those guys, huge fans of one another. Tyjae, we saw him. We were surprised because he passed us on the concourse at the Senior Bowl. He walks past, and I'm like, that's definitely Tyjae. Like, I should have said, hey, but I was like, I'm not expecting to see you down here in January. You're in the NFL. Like, what are you doing? He was there for his buddy Jha'Quan Jackson. He was at Jha'Quan Jackson's draft party when he got picked, and when he went on a Zoom call with the Titans media, Tyjae was there in the background talking to the guys. Like, it's a dream come true for these guys to be on the same team. So that element of this is so cool. Let's look at his profile from college here. In 2022, he had his best year. 33 receptions, 554 yards as a receiver, 16.8 yards per catch, 3 touchdowns, and 2 drops. Second team all AAC that season, and had a 90-yard punt return touchdown to cap it all off. In 2023, had a similar year of production, but a little bit less than the year before. Missed 3 games in total with an ankle injury. That's a big part of why the production took a little bit of a dip. And he missed his bowl game as an opt-out, though he did compete at the Senior Bowl. Measurements wise, he is small. He is a small, speedy receiver, 5'9" and change, 188 pounds, but he runs a 4.42. He does come in, by the way, with a 32-inch vertical jump and a 9-foot 10-inch broad jump, which I mentioned because while he is small, he is fast, but he lacks explosiveness. He's not a super explosive athlete in that way. Some strengths listed by Brugler in the Athletics, the Beast article here, guide rather. Field fast and quickly gets on top of coverage vertically, sinks and transitions his weight with control out of his brakes, tracks the ball well and secures without slowing at the catch point, and he's an experienced return man and had a 90-yard punt return touchdown in 2022, averaged 10.8 yards per punt return and 20.9 yards per kick return in that season. Focused on and off the field and has never shied away from hard work. Some weaknesses here. Smaller frame with below average height, length, and bulk. He struggles to fend off jams at the line of scrimmage. Not much of a tackle breaker. Battled injuries. Missed 3 games, hampered in several others by an ankle injury from October of last year. Tore his labrum during 2020 fall camp, but played through it and had to consistently pop his shoulder back in during games. Surgery came after that season on his shoulder, and then a torn MCL the last game of his junior season in high school in December of 2017. So dealt with a significant number of injuries in his playing career. In summary, Brugler says he tracks the ball well with soft hands, but lacks the frame, body strength, or length to consistently outduel defenders on 50-50 passes. Overall, Jackson is undersized and needs to stay off the injury report, but he offers both long speed and short area quickness, along with the route instincts to create pockets of separation for his quarterback. He projects as an NFL slot with day 1 value as a punt returner.
Yeah, I think that's where we can start our conversation, though. When you look at some of the guys who are still on the board, Malik Washington being one, the fit may have not been the same, but Johnny Wilson is there. Taj Washington is also there.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Tennessee go this route?
Yeah, that's the question that left us scratching our heads when they made it on Saturday, and when we were live, we weren't quite sure what to make of this decision. Jill Morris in the comments asks if you could change one pick, who would you have selected? No trades and available at that spot. It's Malik Washington there. It's Johnny Wilson there. It's maybe even like a Cornelius Johnson there out of Michigan. Like, as you mentioned, Taj Washington. I find those guys much more intriguing than a Jha'Quan Jackson, if I'm being honest. And the reason they made the pick is pretty clear. Like, I've seen some folks being like, whoa, well, this puts Kyle Phillips in the hot seat. I don't know, man. I don't buy that. Like, I'll change my mind on that in camp. And like, listen, if Kyle once again hurts himself 2 seconds into the season, then yeah, it's going to be Jha'Quan Jackson season. But until then, I don't think from a talent standpoint that's going to happen. What I think it actually does, and the point of the pick, is it's pretty clear they wanted a returner. They wanted a guy that has dual returnability. They said that that's what they see in this guy when they talked about him in the press conference after the pick. They want a guy that can return, and that's something that Kyle Phillips has shown. He's kind of he's worked his way out of that conversation because he has muffed too many punts and been too unavailable. With the new kickoff return rules, maybe they see him as a uniquely viable candidate to be the kickoff returner as well as their punt returner and just be that specialist. Keep him on the roster as wide receiver 6 or 7, and he's your punt return guy and offers plus a value in that regard. But he muffed 6 kicks in college too. I need to go see. I'm guessing that's over his college career. I don't think that was all in one season, but like he's been known to drop a kick or two. And so maybe he's this star returner that they see and I don't, and then I will eat my words. But I'm not crazy about that, and I think the vision is blurry at best.
Yeah, and I think that's where I, once again, coming into play devil's advocate and answer that question. When you have him come off the board and then Malik Washington with the next pick, literally the pick right after Jha'Quan Jackson, Miami also released a video where they make the call to Malik Washington, where basically the GM says, "Hey, McDaniel has been wanting me to pick you for the last 3 rounds. It's going to make me so sick when he is just a star at the next level." And maybe he just wouldn't fit what Tennessee wants, but man,
would though. I'm not buying it. He so would. If Jha'Quan Jackson does, Malik Washington freaking does, man.
I think so too. That it's gonna be such a tough look once again to see him on the board. There are a lot of connections though with
Jha'Quan, prove us wrong, buddy. Please,
I really do. But from a talent perspective, it feels like there were a lot more outside effects that led to this pick more than just the talent and who was on the board.
Yeah, and that's the context of the pick is always going to follow him. Worst case is like a Dez Fitzpatrick, Amon-Ra St. Brown situation, which the Titans know all too well. Do I think that's going to be the case? Like, we'll see about that. Well, if Malik Washington is getting highest paid receiver in the league contract in 4 years, then we'll have that discussion. I promise. But it's a tough situation, and generally speaking, taking a undersized marginal athlete that is very fast but lacks explosiveness and is a slot only player as a receiver in the late rounds, you're throwing darts, and that's not the profile I'm wanting to throw darts at personally. But again, we'll see if he proves us wrong.